So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about writing a sentence in kindergarten, okay? So we have to think about the different parts of a sentence, and then before we even start writing, we have to think of our sentence. We have to gather our ideas, then we have to formulate a sentence, that means to make one, by just thinking it. So let's go from the very basics, okay? So when we write a sentence, we need to brainstorm ideas. That means talking it through. Talking it through with your classmates, that's a little hard right now. But you can talk it through with your family. You can talk to them about what you want to write about and then gather some information about it. Now in our class, we've done circle maps and we've also made lists. I'll show you guys that in just a little bit. Then after you make your list of your ideas and you have your idea of what you want to write about, you need to start thinking that sentence through. You got to think it. Okay? After you think it, you need to say it. Say it out loud. Listen to yourself. Does it sound right? Because sometimes it's not going to sound right, and then you need to think some more. Change it up a little bit. Then say it out loud again. If it sounds right, then it's time to write it. Okay? Then you got to write it down on the piece of paper. I'm going to show you a little bit about that too. And then after you write it, you're not finished. You need to read it. Read what you wrote. Everybody makes mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. My brain plays tricks on me. When I read it, I have to read it slowly and look and see if I really wrote what I said earlier. Okay? If I didn't write it the right way, I need to fix it. So when writing a sentence, first you gotta think it, say it. If it doesn't sound right, you gotta go back and think again. Then say it, then you write it. You're not finished yet. After you write it, you gotta read it. If what you read is not what you said, you need to go back and fix your writing. So it's think it, say it, write it, read it. Okay? You guys can do this. You guys are amazing kids. When you're writing a sentence, think it, say it, write it, read it. Okay? Now, when it comes to the parts of a sentence, there's a little song we all know about. The wheels on the bus go round and round. Well, I've changed the words a little bit. I got some help. I've seen it online. We're going to sing a song about writing a sentence. Okay? I'm not the best singer, but I try. That's all we got to do. Here we go. You ready? You always start with an uppercase letter, uppercase letter, uppercase letter. You always start with an uppercase letter when you write a sentence. You always write neatly on the lines, neatly on the lines, neatly on the lines. You always write neatly on the lines when you write a sentence. You have to remember a finger space, finger space, finger space. You have to remember a finger space when you write a sentence. And you always end with punctuation, punctuation, punctuation. You always end with punctuation when you write a sentence. Okay? Those are the 4 parts of writing a sentence that we've learned here in kindergarten. It's a fun little song. Maybe you'll enjoy singing it. Maybe it'll be stuck in your head. Okay? Let's take a look at writing a sentence now. So when you're writing a sentence, you have to get your ideas together. So this is part of the thinking stage. So when you're getting ideas together, usually we do it together in class, but we're not in class right now. So you can get it together with family and talk to them about it. So as you're gathering your ideas, you want to put them down on paper. One of the ways we do it is a circle map. So let's say we want to write about fish. So we're going to write about fish. So we got to start watching videos, reading books, talking about fish. So if we're going to write about fish, we're going to write that in the middle of our paper. We're going to write fish. Okay? You guys should be using a pencil. I'm using a marker so it's easier to see. If you guys have a pencil, it's the best thing, because if we ever make a mistake, we can correct it with a pencil. So we've got fish. That's our idea that we're going to write about. So we're going to circle it in the middle of the paper. Now, in a real circle map, you're going to have another circle all the way around the outside. Don't really need it. It's just, you're going to put your ideas outside of fish. So what do we know about fish? They swim. What else do we know about fish? Oh, they live in water. They have to have water. Okay? Their body has, one of the main parts of their body is their fin, or fins. They have fins that help them swim. Okay? And maybe you want to say that the outside of their body is not covered with skin and hair like ours, it's covered with scales. Scales. I know there's lots more that we know about fish, but this is some good ideas about fish. Okay? So this would be called a circle map. This is something that you'll be using throughout school to gather ideas. Well, we also make it a little bit easier sometimes, and we can make a list. Okay? A list is going to be a lot like the circle map. So, still with fish, we're going to write fish here at the top. Ish. And we're going to underline it. That's going to tell us that's what our list is about. It's about fish. And then we start putting down our ideas. So, they swim. They live in water. They have a body part called a fin or fins. And their body is covered with scales. Okay? So now you're going to see that that circle map and that list have the same information and they're gathered up. It's just two different ways to get our ideas together. Okay? So now that we've got our ideas down, we've got our good list here, we need to start thinking our sentences through, using this information about fish to make a good sentence. So this is in your head, in your brain. You think it through, and after you think your sentence through, you need to say it. You need to say it, okay? Make sure it sounds good. Fish are fin. Fish are fin. That didn't sound right. So that's why you have to say it out loud. Now you go back and you think again. You think again. And then you say it again. Fish have fins. Fish have fins. Good? Sounds good? Then it's time to write. Okay? You can think of many sentences. You can write one for each of these ideas. Fish can swim in water. Fish can swim in water. That's using two of the ideas. Great, sounds good. Let's write it. Okay? Or fish are covered with scales. Fish are covered with scales. You've thought it through. You're saying it out loud. It sounds good. It's time to write. Okay? So you don't want to get your list and just get rid of it. You just want to have your list there close by. Now, right now, in kindergarten, we're learning to write with our 3 lines. We got our top line, our middle line, and our bottom line. I've talked to you guys that in first grade, they're slowly going to take those 3 lines away, and you're just going to have the bottom line. Okay? That's how everybody else writes. Sometimes you have no lines at all. So now it's time to write. And we're going to say our sentence again. Fish have fins. Fish have fins. Let's remember those 4 parts of the sentence. Start with an uppercase letter. Write neatly on the lines. Remember finger spaces between your words. And to end with punctuation, a period or an exclamation point right now. Okay? So say that sentence again. Fish have fins. Well, there's the word fish. But I'm going to start a sentence. I can't use that lowercase now. I've got to use uppercase. It's the beginning of the sentence. Fish. I'm writing neatly so people can read. Okay, I'm writing on the lines neatly. Fish, space. Here's your finger space. Now, I'm left-handed and it's hard for me to use my fingers and then try to write over here. So I have what I call a spacer. And it's just a big popsicle stick. I put it down right next to there. You guys can make one out of an old popsicle stick or a piece of paper, really. It's just something you can put down to give you that space. Fish have. Good. Fish have. Now that spacer's moved and look, there's a nice space right there. Your brain's going to start knowing when to put spaces in and you'll just start not using a finger or not using a spacer anymore. It's just natural. Fish have, I have no more room here. So I'm going to come down to my next line, come down and back to the beginning, and fish have fins. Fish have fins. Okay? And then I got to remember, how do I end my sentence? I end it with a period. Okay? That's punctuation. Fish have fins. Now, I'm done writing. But I'm not done yet. I've got to go back and read my work and check it. So I'm going to put away the black, and my class knows we practice fixing and checking our work with blue. Okay? So remember the 4 parts. Uppercase letter. Good. I'm good with that. Write neatly. Fish have. I didn't write neatly. Fins didn't stay on the line. So with my blue marker, I'm going to fix that I, and I'm going to bring it right down here, right on top, and make my I. I'm going to move that N down. I'm going to write it where it belongs. And that S all the way down here, bring that period down. Now, fish have fins. You guys have to write neatly so people can read this. Okay? So I've checked for uppercase. I checked for neatness. Now I'm going to check for spaces. Does my finger fit between the words? Okay? I only have one space I've got to worry about. It's right there. My finger fits fine. In class, mom and dad, if you want to, maybe you can try it at class. We check for spaces with Skittles and M&Ms. Okay? So fish have fins. And then the last thing I got to check, does it have punctuation? Yep, it's got the period and I moved it down. So I've fixed it. Next thing we need to make sure we do though, is if you do use your blue pen and you have to do this, write it again neatly. And this time, don't make the mistake you made last time. Okay? Have fun, get out there and write, boys and girls. Let people know what you know. Write it down. Okay, so I showed you guys with that sentence. We wrote it down. But do you guys remember all the different parts of what you got to do to write a sentence? Think it, say it, write it, read it. That's the one that everybody seems to forget. It's the reading part. You're not finished after you write that period or exclamation point. You got to go back and read what you wrote. Okay? Check it to see if you made it the right way. And those 4 parts of the sentence start with an uppercase letter. Write neatly on the lines. Why do we have to write neatly? That's right, so people can read it. Remember a finger space and end with punctuation. We've been using a period or an exclamation point. See you guys later. Bye.